Hello all, my name is Saoirse. I'm a canine trainer, and today we're going to be doing a class on Leave It. And this behaviour is like a really good behaviour if you're walking your dog down the road and they see something that you might want them to go at, something that might be harmful or poisonous to them, and you want them to leave that and not go for it. So just before we start, I'm just going to talk about a few health and safety things. Just to your behind you to your right hand side, there's a door here that would be our fire exit. We also have a fire extinguisher in the corner over there, just if in the case of an emergency. And then there's also another fire exit to the back of the room if this fire door is blocked. And there's also, we've blocked up all the plug holes, so that should be fine. And if you just let me know if your dog pees on the floor, or if you see any water spilled on the floor, if you let me know straight away, just so we can get a wet floor sign on it and clean it up. And that's kind of all for the health and safety. The other thing is just to kind of keep the dogs separated, try not to let them interact with each other. Just, we don't want any fighting in the training class, so if you just keep them a bit separate, that would be perfect. So we'll just get down to the training side of it now. So it's a leave it behaviour. Like I said, it'd be great if you're on a walk and you see something that you don't want your dog to pick up, and you can tell them to leave it, and when the training is in place they should leave that straight away and just come to you. It works on kind of like a bartering system, so we're going to do it in a couple of steps. We're going to do the first step today, and then I'll also tell you the next step just so you can work on it at home. And as the classes move on, you'll gradually get to the final step where the food is on the floor, or something's on the floor that you don't want them to touch, and they won't go for it while you have a treat in your hand. So I'm just gonna, I have the treats just over here, sorry. So we have some chews, some small treats, just a few different options, just in case just in case they don't like these treats. I also have a bit of chicken there, just in case they need something a bit more tasty. And I also, if you need to be on the floor, I don't think you will because the dogs are quite large, but if you need to kneel on the floor, there's some cushions here that will help for your knees. Okay, so I'm just going to take two treats. I'm going to have one behind my back, and I'm going to have one in my hand. I'm going to use Nala for the demonstration, so I'll just show you quickly with Nala. So she's engaged, she's looking at me. I'm going to just drop the lead to the floor and give her a little bit of room, but not too much. I'm going to put one treat in my hand. Now this hand is the hand that you're never going to give the dog the treat from. Okay, so you're going to present the treat to the dog close to their face. And we're not going to add in the word leave it yet, just to get them used to the behaviour first. And then you're going to give them a marker if they don't go for the treat. So the marker that we're going to use is yes in a high-pitched tone. So you're going to place the treat by the dog. Now she went for the treat, so I'm going to lift it up straight away. I'm going to place it again, straight away. Yes! So she didn't go for it there, and I'm going to give her the marker, which is yes in a high-pitched tone, and then I'm going to give her the treat. So she knows that when she doesn't go for the treat that's in the hand, that she'll get a treat from the other hand. Okay, so I'm going to go again. So again, she looked away, she might have got a bit distracted there, but she didn't go for the treat in the hand, which is really good. And it was quite close down by her face. So I'm just going to give her back to you, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of treats, and you can try that now with your own dog. So if you want to take a few treats there, and you can have like one for the other hand or whatever, and for yourself. Not yet. Oh, she's good. Down, down. Perfect, so if you want to try it out yourselves, and I'm just going to help you if you need any help. So you can kind of discourage it and just take it away from her straight away if she does tend to jump up.
Yes.
Good girl. And if you try, just bring it closer to her. I know she will kind of jump at it, but each time if you can get it closer to her face without her jumping, that would be the best.
No.
Girl. Yes. One more.
Yes.
Okay, now we're just going to add in a word. So when we bring our hand down, you're going to say leave it. Okay, so you're going to bring the hand down and say leave it, and then bring it back up. And if they don't go for the treat, again, you can treat again and say yeah, give the marker, which is the yes marker.
Leave it.
Leave it.
Yes.
Leave it. Leave it.
Leave it.
Yes.
Leave it. Yes.
Nala. Over here.
Leave it. Yes.
Perfect. Right, so I'm just going to take Nala again. I'm just going to show you the next step of this, okay? So it's very similar to the first step. So you're doing the exact same thing, but you're going to just try get your hand closer to the ground, okay? So it's going to go down past the dog's face, and you'll see if they lunge for it straight away like Nala did, that then they're going for it. So you need to give them, it will, eventually they'll leave the hand and go for the treat. So leave it. Leave it. Now this is kind of faster, so if she's not doing it straight away, you can go back to the first step, but I just want to show you what as the progression goes. Leave it. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. So you can see now she's not kind of going for the treat. So I'll let you try a bit like that. If your dog is still going for the treat, you can kind of lift your hand further up. And then I just wanted to let you know, so the last step of this is to kind of have the treats that they're on the floor. So that's where we're going for, but it's too soon yet to go to that point. But that's where we're aiming to get to, that there's a treat on the floor and they're leaving it. Leave it. Leave it. Nala. Sit. Leave it. Yeah. Leave it.
Leave it. Yep.
Two.
Leave it. Leave it.
And if she is kind of getting too much, you can just go back a step. So try it a little bit further up. So leave it.
Leave it. Leave it. Good girl.
Yes. Leave it. Leave it. And just remember to give your markers when they do a good job. The yes marker is really important. Yes.
Leave it. Leave it. Yes.
Good. Okay, so that's all we have time for today, guys. All I'm going to say is they're doing really well and you're doing the progression really good. So if you can just try this at home, do it for short spurts, so maybe 2 to 3 minutes, about 2 or 3 times a day. You can, if you do this more often, they'll get really good at leaving the treat and going for the treat. That obviously it's a bartering system, so they're getting a treat for leaving a treat. Then you can also try it with their toys if they're really motivated by toys, but I think they're quite motivated by the food, so that's really good. So if you keep doing that until next week, and then we can kind of go on to the more leaving the food on the floor, so that they have to leave it when it's on the floor. That's what the final step is. So if you have your dog coming to the next class where they're leaving it in the hand and leaving it kind of when you have your hand as close to the floor as possible, so when they're starting to leave it from your hand by their nose, if you just move it down closer to the floor and then eventually get it with your hand on the floor. If you have that by next week's class, it will be really, really good, because we can start with the floor work then, and it will be much better, and we'll get to move on a lot quicker. So I'm going to send you guys just by email, I have your emails that I took at the start. I'm going to send you some information on the leave it behaviour and just the stuff that we're doing today. There's a training plan I've done up, so you can read through all the steps just in case you need a little bit of a refresher. and you can kind of look at that when you go home, and that's perfect. Okay, so I thank you very much for coming today. These are great, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.